Hello and welcome back to News Around, your sanctuary for the unspoken truths of the celebrity world. We live in an era of noise, constant notifications, endless status updates, and loud declarations of love. But sometimes, the most deafening sound in a relationship isn't a shout, it's a silence. It is the quiet realization that you are alone in a room with someone else. Today, we are turning the pages of a story that looked like a fairy tale on Instagram but felt like a tragedy behind closed doors. We are dissecting the sudden, sharp, and absolute erasure of Gökberk from the life of Cemre Arda. This isn't just a breakup story, it is a manifesto of self-worth. Before we unravel the threads of this emotional tapestry, make sure you are part of our community. Click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and if you want to support independent, in-depth storytelling like this, please consider clicking the join button to become an exclusive member of the News Around family. 4 months, they were the golden standard. Cemre Arda and Gökberk. To the outside world, they were a symphony of perfectly timed smiles and synchronized aesthetics. They walked red carpets with an air of invincibility, their hands clasped in a way that suggested an unbreakable bond. The cameras captured the measured glances, the knowing looks exchanged amidst the flashbulbs, painting a portrait of a couple who understood each other without speaking. Social media was their canvas, and they painted a masterpiece of tranquility. There were no public spats, no passive-aggressive captions, only the serene gloss of a relationship that had everything figured out. However, as we often learn in the brutal theater of show business, the brighter the spotlight, the darker the shadow it casts. Sources deep within the industry now reveal that this public calm was not a reflection of peace, but a mask for a growing, suffocating hollowness. The relationship was not held together by passion, but by inertia, the dangerous comfort of habit. It was a glass house, beautiful to look at, but fragile and cold to the touch. Cemre Arda, a woman known for her grace and resilience, was reportedly living in a state of quiet desperation, waiting for a sign of life in a romance that had long since gone dormant. The collapse didn't happen with a public scandal. There were no third parties caught on camera, no late-night arguments on the street. The end came in a moment of terrifying clarity. According to intimate sources, the dam broke during a private conversation. A desperate attempt by Cemre to bridge the widening gap between them. It was in this vulnerable moment that she uttered the words that would become the epitaph of their relationship. "I don't want someone who's only with me when it suits them. I need someone who chooses me even when it's difficult." These words are not just a complaint, they are a fundamental demand for partnership. They speak of a loneliness experienced while sitting right next to someone. For Cemre, this wasn't an attack. It was a confession of her emotional reality. She was tired of being a convenience, a trophy for the good times, but an afterthought during the storms. Let's pause here for a second. I want to ask you, the News Around community, have you ever felt like a convenience in a relationship? Have you ever had to beg for the bare minimum? It's a painful place to be. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, we read every single one. And remember, your engagement helps us bring these stories to light. If you love this content, don't forget to like the video. How did Gökberk respond to this raw baring of the soul? This is where the tragedy deepens. Reports suggest that he interpreted her plea not as a cry for help, but as an assault on his pride. He felt exposed, his ego bruised by the implication that he was failing as a partner. But instead of fighting for her, instead of offering reassurance or even a counterargument, he chose the weapon of the coward, absolute silence. On that fateful night, as Cemre reportedly added, "I'm tired of justifying absences, of explaining silences, and of pretending everything is fine," the air in the room reportedly froze. Gökberk didn't yell. He didn't try to fix it. He simply withdrew. For Cemre, that lack of reaction was the final gavel strike. It was the most painful confirmation possible that she was indeed fighting this battle alone. His silence was an answer louder than any scream. It told her that he was unwilling to do the work required to keep her. What followed was a modern ritual of cleansing. In the age of social media, a breakup isn't official until the digital footprint is erased. But what Cemre Arda did was not a petty act of revenge, it was a surgical removal of a tumor. Hours after their conversation, the most eagle-eyed followers of NewsAround and the general public noticed the shift. Gökberk began to vanish. One by one, the photos disappeared. The tags were untagged. The digital memories that served as the public proof of their love were deleted as if they had never existed. Friends close to the actress emphasized that this wasn't an impulsive, tear-filled night of deleting. It was a cold, conscious, and deliberate decision. It was Cemre saying, "I am reclaiming my narrative." She didn't just unfollow him on an app, she emotionally evicted him from her life. She chose her peace over the performance of a relationship. When she later posted the cryptic yet powerful message, "Sometimes losing someone isn't a defeat, it's a liberation," it set the internet on fire. It was a declaration of independence. While some critics called her harsh, those who truly know her understood that this was the sound of a woman finally exhaling after holding her breath for years. The divergence between the two could not be more stark. Gökberk remained trapped in the amber of the past. He opted for a strategy of ambiguity, posting melancholic quotes about fate and misunderstandings, the classic refuge of those who refuse to take accountability. His silence in the public sphere mirrored his silence in the relationship, passive, confusing, and ultimately empty. Cemre, however, underwent a metamorphosis. The breakup was not a funeral for her, it was a rebirth. Observers noted a change in her physical presence. Her walk at events became firmer, her gaze before the cameras more steel-like. The Cemre who longed for understanding was gone, replaced by a woman who demanded respect. Industry insiders note that this emotional shift fueled a professional renaissance. Cemre Arda began accepting roles that were grittier, darker, and more complex. Critics praised a new depth in her acting, a silent force that seemed to emanate from a well of profound personal experience. She channeled her disappointment into her art, proving that the best revenge is not just success, but evolution. The most heartbreaking detail of this saga is the realization that this wasn't about a single fight. It was the accumulation of 1,000 tiny cuts. The absences on birthdays, the broken promises, the plans that dissolved into thin air. Cemre, known for her infinite patience, had waited and waited, until she realized that waiting was all she was doing. "I don't want to beg for attention," she reportedly told a confidant. "Love should be present, not an excuse." By cutting Gökberk out, she wasn't just ending a relationship, she was killing the version of herself that accepted crumbs. She stopped explaining herself. She stopped asking why. She simply closed the door. And in doing so, she became a hero to every person who has ever stayed too long in a place where they weren't valued. Today, Cemre Arda walks alone, but she walks with her head high. Gökberk is a closed chapter, a book that she has returned to the shelf, never to be opened again. There is no hatred in her silence, only the peace of someone who knows their own worth. What do you think about Cemre's radical decision to erase everything? Is digital erasure necessary for true healing, or is it too harsh? We want to spark a debate in the comments. Let us know whose side you are on. Thank you for watching this special report on NewsAround. If this story resonated with you, please leave a like and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and, if you really want to help us keep the lights on and the stories coming, hit that join button to support us directly. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, goodbye.